dating apps, they promised so much, didn't they? Efficiency, endless choice. But as we dug into the sources you sent over, a really quite dark picture started to emerge. They've become, as one report put it, hotspots for exploitation.
That's right.
So today we're doing a deep dive into this AI-fueled catfishing epidemic.
Exactly. We're zeroing in on Bumble and Tinder, looking at user experiences, reports, trying to understand how this combination of advanced AI, kind of manipulative money-making models, these dark patterns, and frankly, failures in safety features are putting users at serious risk.
And our goal here is really to give you the knowledge you need to navigate this because the scale of the problem is, well, it's huge.
It's absolutely critical information. The money involved is just astronomical. I mean, the NTC flagged $1.3 billion in romance scam losses back in 2022 alone. And a huge chunk of that started right on these dating apps. Yeah, and just to give you a sense of the deception scale right off the bat, some sources estimate about 10% of dating profiles might be totally fake. And get this, over half, 53%, have stuff that's just plain false. Location, job, age, you name it.
Okay, let's unpack that. Because modern catfishing, it's not just someone grabbing an old photo anymore, is it? What's fundamentally different now? What makes it so much trickier?
It really comes down to the tech. It's the leap in AI and deepfakes. Scammers aren't just stealing pictures now, they're generating them. Hyper-realistic photos, even convincing video selfies that look just like real people.
So indistinguishable, basically.
Pretty much. It makes it incredibly hard for the average person, or even the app sometimes, to spot them manually.
And this is where the sources really highlighted a key technical point. The old trick, doing a reverse image search, that doesn't work anymore. Why not?
Right, that's the scary part. These AI-generated images, they often have no history online. They're brand new. So you can't trace them back to someone's Facebook or a stock photo site. It breaks that old defense mechanism.
And they're using this tech specifically to fool the app's own safety measures.
Exactly. Things like Tinder's face check or Bumble's photo verification. The AI is literally programmed to mimic the specific poses, the head tilt, the smile, needed to get that little blue verification check mark.
Which gives the fake profile instant credibility.
Instant credibility, yeah.
So even with the apps claiming they have tools like, what was it, Bumble's deception detector? The reality, based on the sources, is that it's still way too easy to set up these fake profiles.
It seems so. There was one experiment mentioned where a fake profile on Bumble just raked in like over 150 likes in just a few hours.
That quick.
Yeah. The speed they can gain traction is, well, alarming, shows the volume game they can play.
Okay, so it's not just about tricking people emotionally. This is big business. Before we even get to the direct scams, let's talk about how the apps themselves operate. These dark patterns and subscription traps.
Right. To really get it, you have to look at their business model. It's this freemium approach, but it's often built on psychological tricks. Gamification, obviously, but also something called variable reinforcement.
Variable reinforcement. That sounds deliberately addictive, like a slot machine.
Yeah, that's exactly the comparison used. It is like a slot machine. The app gives you just enough reward. Oh, a surprise match. Someone likes you. To keep you hooked, keep you swiping. But it always holds back the real prize, keeping you slightly frustrated.
And that frustration, that's where they make their money.
Precisely. They limit your free swipes. They show you those blurred profiles of people who supposedly liked you. Maybe even use fake like notifications. All designed to nudge you, or maybe shove you, towards paying for premium stuff. Tinder Gold, Bumble Boost, whatever they call it.
So it's almost like the apps are designed to not let you find someone too quickly?
Well, critics and sources definitely argue that. Some call it a complete scam in that sense, structured to stretch out the process. Think about it. If you find your perfect match on day one and delete the app, that's lost revenue for them. So keeping you paying for visibility or access becomes the goal.
And if you do decide to pay up,
Yeah.
then you hit the Roach Motel.
Yes. The classic dark pattern. It's super easy to sign up, give your payment details, but then trying to cancel that subscription. Suddenly it's buried in menus, confusing steps that make it really hard to leave. It's all about keeping you paying.
Okay, so that's the sort of internal manipulation within the app. But the big money fraud, the really damaging stuff, that happens outside the app, right? What's the typical scam flow look like?
It's become quite predictable, unfortunately. It starts with a match, obviously. Then very quickly, there's this intense affection, maybe overly intense. That's the love bombing phase.
Building false intimacy fast.
Exactly. And the crucial next move is pressure. Pressure to move the chat off the dating app onto WhatsApp, Telegram, something unmonitored. That's key.
Why is that so important for them?
Because then there's no platform oversight. No chat logs the app can review if something goes wrong. Once they have you isolated there, the financial ask or the lure isn't far behind.
And we saw some pretty stark examples. That case in Mumbai. 12 men lured to places, bars or something, with rigged systems, pressured into paying these insane bills. One guy lost overall 61,000, which
Mm.
is what, like $700, $800 in one go?
Yeah, horrible. And often it goes beyond just asking for money for an emergency. A really dangerous trend now is pivoting to fake investment schemes, especially cryptocurrency.
Ah, the crypto scam.
Right, they build that trust, then introduce this amazing opportunity on a fake crypto platform, convincing the victim to invest more and more money until it all vanishes.
It's easy to get caught up in the financial numbers, but the sources pointed to even more devastating harms. What are the really severe dangers here?
Yeah. Moving past the money, which is awful enough, there are three really severe risks that kept coming up: doxing, sextortion, and actual physical risk. We're talking about things escalating into genuinely life-threatening situations now.
Physical risk. Tell us more about that. That sounds terrifying.
It is. And sadly, in some parts of the world, these fake profiles are absolutely being used to set people up for violent crime. We saw reports from Latin America, Medellin, and Mexico City specifically mentioned, where people meeting matches have been robbed, drugged, and tragically, in some cases, killed.
That's just chilling, that a tool meant for connection is being used as a weapon like that.
It really is.
Yeah.
And an interesting point from the Mexico City data was a gender disparity. Women made up 63% of the victims in app-related fraud there, and they lost, on average, double the amount of money compared to male victims in those same incidents.
Wow, so targeted differently, perhaps. Now, besides the physical offline danger, how is AI making the digital threats worse? You mentioned doxing and sextortion.
Yes, AI is now directly involved in sextortion in a way it wasn't before. The really scary development is that scammers don't even need the victim to send explicit photos anymore.
How does that work?
They can take your normal profile pictures, pictures you shared publicly, maybe from social media linked to your profile, and use AI to generate incredibly realistic deepfake nudes of you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then they use those fake images to blackmail you. It removes a huge step for the scammer they don't need to trick you into sending anything compromising first.
That's terrifying. And just sharing basic info, name, maybe where you work, that can lead to doxing too, like that awful swatting case.
Exactly. That case where someone used app info to find an ICE attorney's home address and called in a fake emergency to send armed police there. It shows how easily even small bits of shared data can be weaponized.
And the apps themselves, sometimes their features actually make things worse, like the unmatch feature.
That was a huge finding in the sources. For a long time, perpetrators could commit an assault or scam someone, then immediately use the unmatched feature on Tinder or Bumble. And poof, the entire chat history vanished for both users.
Destroying the
It's
evidence.
clearly destroying the evidence trail, leaving the victim with nothing. Now, Bumble, to their credit, did change this so the victim retains the chat history, but it really highlights how platform features designed for casual dating can have serious unintended safety consequences, a real mismatch.
So, with all this, the AI, the scams, the risks, who is actually falling victim most often? Let's look at the stats, because it might not be who you think.
It's a bit of a complex picture, actually,
Okay.
especially looking at gender and money. In the UK, reports cited men actually made up slightly more of the victims who reported scams, around 52 to 53%.
So men report it slightly more often.
It appears so. But this is a big, but women, when they were victimized, lost significantly more money on average.
Okay, that's a key difference. How much more?
The numbers were pretty stark. Average loss for women was around $9,083 US, compared to about $5,145 for men. So it seems women might be targeted for larger financial scams.
And what about age? Is it mostly younger people getting tricked?
Actually, no. The data shows two interesting peaks: the 55 to 64 age group. They had the highest number of reported scams, so perhaps more likely to fall for the initial deception.
Okay.
But the group that suffered the highest average financial loss per incident, that was the 65 to 74 age group.
So older individuals, perhaps with more savings or assets, are losing the most money when they do get caught.
That seems to be the devastating pattern. And it's so important to remember, as you said, this is all based on reported scams. Shame, embarrassment. It means the real numbers are likely far, far higher across all groups.
Right. So given that the apps are often, playing catch up with this technology, what can people actually do? Vigilance seems key.
It really is your best defense right now. The sources offered some pretty consistent advice. We pulled together the most effective strategies into a sort of checklist for you.
Okay, give us the safety checklist. What's step one?
Verification, but your verification. Don't just rely on their blue check. Insist on a live video call reasonably early on, definitely before meeting or sharing sensitive personal info. Real-time deepfakes are still clunky and harder to pull off convincingly.
Good tip. What else for profile checking?
Still do that reverse image search, Google Lens, Tinea, whatever. It won't catch the AI fakes,
Yeah.
but it will still catch scammers using stolen photos of real people, which definitely still happens.
Okay, makes sense. What about communication and, crucially, money?
Golden rules here. First, try to keep the conversation on the app for as long as possible. Why? Because it creates a record. If something goes wrong, you have evidence within the platform
Yeah,
system.
right, preserves the log.
Exactly. And second, absolute red line. The moment anyone asks you for money, gift cards, crypto, financial help of any kind, just stop. Consider it over. That is the #1 scam indicator across the board. No exceptions.
And any behavioral red flags to look out for in the chat itself?
Definitely. Watch out for that love bombing. We mentioned really intense, rushed intimacy that feels unnatural. Also, any kind of engineered urgency. A sudden crisis, a medical emergency, a travel problem that needs immediate funds. Slow things down. Real connections don't usually involve financial emergencies in week one.
Okay, solid advice. And finally, if you do decide to meet someone in person,
Safety first, always. Meet in a crowded public place for the first few times. And crucially, tell a friend where you're going, who you're meeting, and share your live location with them using your phone. Basic precautions, but they matter.
the core message from all this seems to be genuine connections don't start with demands for cash or secrets.
Absolutely. Healthy relationships build on trust, not immediate financial transactions or over-the-top declarations after 2 days of chatting.
You know, this whole deep dive, it just reveals such a disturbing conflict, doesn't it? The very technology that promised connection, AI, algorithms, ease of access, it's the exact same technology being turned against users for, well, pretty horrific harm. Financial, psychological, even physical.
It's a profound contradiction. And if you zoom out to the bigger psychological picture, these platforms, they're not really built for your long-term happiness. They're engineered for engagement, for keeping you swiping, and ultimately for revenue.
How does that constant swiping affect people?
Well, the research suggests it fosters what some sociologists call a disposable culture. This constant stream of faces, the snap judgments, the rejections, the tyranny of choice, where there's always potentially someone better just to swipe away. It can lead to serious emotional burnout.
A disposable culture, treating people like commodities.
In a way, yes. It can discourage deep investment in any one connection because the next option is always right there. Studies have linked heavy app use to poorer psychosocial well-being compared to people who don't use them. You're sort of conditioned to keep looking, keep swiping.
So here's the final thought, I guess. If these dating apps really profit most when you stay single, stay swiping, stay frustrated, maybe even stay paying for boosts, what's the real long-term cost to our mental health? Especially in a system that seems increasingly rigged, preying on loneliness and vulnerability in this pay-to-win dating world. Something to definitely think about next time you feel that urge to swipe.